I was just on YouTube. Somebody mentioned that he got the Monette character and she didn't have a breathing bone like the other characters. So I'm looking here and I see that her rig is 2021. So it's actually a rather old rig, but let's go ahead and add the breathing bone in here just to see what that looks like. So we're going to have some several different controls that we have to deal with, or bones, I should say, deformers. And so the midsection area is the main area that matters here. But I suppose also the breasts matter, and I think that's the main thing. So what we're wanting to do is put a bone that is a controller that is a child of the spine here, so it'll follow along. But then when we scale it, it'll move the midriff, it'll move the breasts, it'll move the whole chest area around. And so right now, this deformer here, if I scale it, looks like it does do a little something, but not a lot. And so let's take a look and see what these deformers are children of, and just kind of figure it out. I haven't looked at this rig for a while, so I don't actually know how it works. And so we're going to have to reverse engineer it together here. Okay, so what is the parent of this? It is the def pectoral inner. All right, def pectoral inner, that's probably that one right there. Yes. This is the child of def sternum. Def sternum is probably going to be, I don't got it showing, perhaps it is a sizing and proportions deformer. Okay, control. That is the def sternum right there. Right, so that's going to be our thing. If we take that def sternum, scale it, it grows her chest and everything like that. But what we want to do is be able to move it, right? So that's going to cause her to breathe right there. But looks like there should be some rib cage bones here, which I'm not seeing. It's possibly ribs. Better ribs. That's something I don't do in the newer rigs. All these deformers are are kind of grouped by area. So having ribs, that's an old construct I haven't done before. So notice when the sternum moves, that the ribs do not move. Right, so sternum, what is it a child of? It is a child of the chest 3 size. Control chest 3 size. Is that this one? Control chest 3 size, right. Okay, so we'll remove that one. This is going to move along with it because it's the child of that. This is moving. When I move the chest 3 size, it's moving also her clavicles, and therefore kind of moving her arms. And that's just what we want to be able to have move a little bit. Okay, so this control chest 3 size will have to be a child of a breathing bone. And then this is our ribs, right? So the ribs we're going to want to also have to be a child of the breathing bone. These are a child of the def breast scale helper L. Def breast scale helper L. Where is that? It's a widget that I've put here. Okay, so it looks like that's going to be our second child. So we want that, and we want that to be a child of a new breathing bone, and the mirror of the same thing. All right, and I think that'll do it. Now what I'm going to do here is scale this on the y-axis and see that's kind of what we want. So basically, we want this to be the child of a breathing bone, and we want it to be behind that breathing bone. So we want the breathing bone. All right, Dave. want to turn off her world. It's causing confusion here. Okay, so the breathing bone, we want it in front of this. And we want this and that to be a child of it, right? Okay, so let's take uh, this bone, perhaps. Control neck. The child of control body move. Where's control body move? Perhaps I'll just make it a child of that. Deaf chest, which itself is a child. Oh, this is a deaf spine external. That's a deaf bone, deaf bone, deaf chest. That one right there. I think uh, deaf chest right there. That's essentially our breathing bone already. Ah, look at that. Her ribs are appearing. So it looks like that is the breathing bone. I just call it deaf chest. Uh, right. And do I have constraints on? It's allowed to scale on its X and Z axis, but not on its Y axis. Right. Okay. So that is actually our breathing bone. And I bet if we look at her um, body mesh, we can see that there's a uh, vertex group probably for ribs, right? We can also probably see that there's going to be a ribs smooth that has a driver on it. Let's take a look at that driver. That driver, sure enough, depth chest. So if I'm scaling depth chest, that changes how much this rib smooth happens. So that is our bone. Okay, so let us go back and select her rig, and let us go get rid of all the layers except for the main controls. And yes, that one is right there. So that's the answer I need to give to that person on YouTube, is that back in 2021, when I made this rig, the bone that is for breathing is called deaf chest, and it is available to see right there in the default view. But there's a little bit of spelunking through an old rig. That's kind of how I expect others will probably have to work when they're looking at my rigs and trying to figure things out. It's all about trying to see where bones are and what their parents are, what the relationship is. What we didn't do here um, in this particular video yet so far, but it's something that's very important, is also looking at the bone constraints, right? So in this case, there's a dump track, which has nothing to do with the breathing element of it. That's just like if we move her neck around this bone, it does a damp track to it, and that kind of like also, I guess because the damp track is 100%, that means if I try to rotate it at all, it'll only rotate on its y-axis. So nothing to do with breathing, but there you go. So I'll let the person who bought Monette know that's the breathing bone there. Let's turn her world back on. This way also, if she's like this, maybe she wants to puff up her chest a little bit or not. That's something we can do. A lot of times when someone puffs up their chest at the same time, they'll pull their arms back, and so that's why this looks a little unnatural here, because you would expect as she puffs out her chest that she also kind of um, comes back a little bit like that, and that therefore her surfboard would kind of point up more at the time. So it looks to me a little unnatural when she's breathing that the board would go like that. But that is how the rig works. And so if you actually were animating that and it did bother you that her clavicles are coming forward like that, then you could counter animate it with the hand or something. All right, I think that's enough for this video. Thanks for joining us, Monette. It was good seeing you. Looks like Blender 4.4 is a little bit faster than before, but this is a very heavy scene. There's a lot of textures to compile, so that's kind of the state of things there. God, it's been a long time since I looked at Monette. She's a wonderful girl.